It didn't happen with thunder. It didn't happen with angels tearing open the sky. It didn't happen with visions or voices. It happened in silence, a shift behind your ribs, a soft pressure in your spirit, a moment where something ancient inside you clicked, like a lock finally recognizing the one it was carved for. And then it opened. A chamber deep within your soul unfolded like a hidden vault, revealing a book older than suns, older than galaxies, older than any prophecy ever spoken on earth. The secret book of life. Not the one theologians talk about, not the one written in metaphor, but the one heaven guards for one soul in a generation. A book written entirely in living light, letters glowing like constellations, pages breathing like truth itself. It did not open to you. It opened because of you. Something in your spirit aligned perfectly with destiny, and heaven responded. You didn't force it. You didn't beg for it. You didn't search for it. You became ready. The moment it unlocked, your old timelines folded like fragile paper. Everything that didn't match your true identity lost authority instantly. The book turned its first page by itself. A pulse of light rippled through your spirit, revealing not your past but your origin. A voice not spoken but felt moved through you. What was written for you is now accessible to you. And with that, your destiny shifted from wandering to being guided. Your life is no longer random. Your steps are no longer accidental. Your intuition is no longer imagination. You are reading a blueprint your soul has waited lifetimes to see. In your light we see light. Psalm 36 verse 9, when the book opened, everything hidden became reachable. Everything delayed became unlocked. Everything stolen became reclaimable. You have stepped into designed existence, not survival. If you feel a chapter opening inside you, type 999. The book didn't open as a sign. It opened as permission. When the book opened, it didn't start with your past or your failures or your wounds. It started with your true name, not the name you were given at birth, not the name people use, not the name society shaped, but the name heaven calls you, the name written before time had vocabulary. As the first page turned, letters formed in glowing strands of light, shifting like galaxies, arranging themselves into a single identity. The real you. The name carried weight, not heaviness, but authority. It hummed with recognition, like every angel in creation was familiar with it. This name is not spoken in human language. It exists in frequency, in vibration, in spiritual resonance. It cannot be cursed, cannot be stolen, cannot be mispronounced. Only heaven knows it. And now you do too, not with your ears, but with your spirit. As you stare at the glowing script, something in your chest answered, a warmth, a pull, a rising recognition of the identity you forgot you carried. Because this was a name you had before trauma reshaped you, before life hardened you, before the world renamed you with expectations and limitations. This was the name your destiny always responded to. Your true identity flickered awake inside you. Confidence without ego, clarity without fear, purpose without confusion. The book revealed the truth. You were never who they said you were. You were always who heaven called you to be. And with your true name unveiled, the rest of the book prepared to unfold. Page by page, light by light, destiny by destiny. Because once your real identity is restored, everything written for you can finally begin. The book of life didn't sit on a shelf. It wasn't stored in a library. It wasn't guarded by walls or stone. It was kept in a cosmic chamber so ancient, so hidden, so protected, that even angels approach it with bowed heads. This chamber exists outside time, a place where past, present, and future stand still like obedient servants. 7 veils guarded the entrance. Not fabric, not metal, but layers of divine frequency, each one vibrating with a different law of the universe. The veil of memory, the veil of identity, the veil of destiny, the veil of origin, the veil of protection, the veil of truth, the veil of revelation. No human has ever walked into this place. No spirit has ever opened his doors without permission from the Most High. In the center of that chamber, on an altar of living starlight, rested the book, closed, silent, waiting. Not waiting for a reader, waiting for you, for your spirit to reach the frequency that could break the 7 seals. for your timeline to align with the design written for you before creation, for your identity to remember itself enough to call the book by name. When it unlocked, the chamber responded. The veils parted. The walls pulsed with light. The guardian stepped aside. The book rose gently from its altar and opened itself toward your soul, as if saying, "Welcome, you finally arrived." Because this chamber was not simply a vault. It was a womb of destiny. And the fact that it opened means you have stepped into the season where secrets become assignments and mysteries become instructions. You didn't discover the book. The book recognized you. When the next page turned, the room around the book shifted. The starlight dimmed, the veils quieted, and for a moment everything stood still. Then your lineage ignited, not as a family tree, not as faces or names, but as symbols of living fire. Each flame represented a generation, but these were not ordinary ancestors. They were the ones chosen before you, the ones who carried fragments of the same light, the same calling, the same ancient code that now awakens in you. You watch the flames dance, forming patterns older than language, spirals, sigils, constellations. They weren't random, they were instructions. You realize something profound. Your bloodline was never random. It was selected. A thread of divine assignment has run through your ancestry for centuries, often hidden, often resisted, often misunderstood, but always protected. Some carried the gift. Some ran from it. Some were silenced by the world. Some never unlocked it, but survived. In whispers, in dreams, in instincts, in the strange feeling of being different your entire life. The book showed you the truth. You are the first in your lineage with the strength and the timing to activate what they could not. You are the convergence point, the one born when the cycle completes, the one equipped to carry what your ancestors only glimpsed. A flame brighter than the rest rose from the page and hovered before you. This was not a past relative. This was your origin light, the spark for which your calling was crafted. And as it settled into your chest, you felt it, the weight of destiny and the honor of inheritance. You are not just continuing a story. You are fulfilling it. The book paused, as if preparing you for something heavier, something you were meant to see but spent a lifetime being kept from. Then the pages flipped on their own, rushing past countless timelines until they stopped at a section covered in darkness. Entire chapters of your life were missing, blacked out, blurred, redacted, erased, but not by heaven. These were the chapters that life, trauma, betrayal, systems, and enemies tried to destroy. The parts of you they hoped you would never remember, never reclaim, never rise from. Moments you were robbed of, opportunities stolen, identity suppressed, destiny delayed, seeds of greatness uprooted before they could grow. You stood before the hidden pages, and for the first time, you saw the truth. Nothing was lost. Nothing was forgotten. Nothing was beyond restoration. A line of golden light cut across the darkened ink, burning through the shadows, revealing the chapter beneath. One by one, the erased pages resurrected. The dreams you abandoned reappeared with sharper clarity. The versions of you that were silenced returned with stronger voices. The opportunities stolen from you rewrote themselves into new forms. The potential you thought was dead rose like a phoenix from the margins. You watched as every stolen year, every broken moment, every silenced gift was restored in ink made of starlight. The book whispered to your spirit, what was lost has been rewritten. A pulse moved through your chest, not pain, not grief, but recognition. You weren't starting from zero. You were reclaiming everything that should have always been yours. The chapter sealed itself with a final decree. Restored, reactivated, returned. This wasn't memory. This was resurrection. The next page didn't show images. It didn't show scenes, people, places, or events. Instead, it revealed vibrations, waves of light, currents of energy, patterns that pulse like the heartbeat of the universe. Because your future is not written in sentences. It is written in frequency. As the book unfolded, you saw lines of shimmering sound, like music made of prophecy, melodies made of destiny. Each wave carried a version of your future that heaven always intended for you. Not rigid, not fixed, not forced, but aligned. The book showed that your destiny is not a straight line. It is a symphony, and every choice you make, every truth you embrace, every fear you defeat changes the frequency to match a higher version of you. You watched as the waves shifted when your spirit responded. A brighter vibration rose the moment you understood what you were seeing. One angel stepped forward and said, "Your future is not predicted. Your future is resonant." The book revealed timelines not as paths, but as harmonies. When you are fearful, your destiny quiets. When you are aligned, it sings. And last night, your soul hit the frequency of awakening. The vibrations on the page sharpened, rising into a golden frequency that matched the rhythm of your spirit. This was your true future, not the one shaped by wounds or imposed by others or limited by circumstance, but the future written in the original wavelength of your identity. A message formed in light. When your spirit rises, your future obeys. You felt it settle into your bones, a rhythm, a pulse, a silent knowing that your destiny is now unavoidable. You are no longer guessing the future. You are vibrating into it. As the book turned to the next section, the light dimmed, not in fear, but in revelation. This was the part heaven usually hides. But now that you've unlocked the book, you're permitted to see what tried to keep it closed. The page revealed every force, every person, every system, every shadow that attempted to block your awakening. Not with drama, not with horror, but with clarity. You saw how many times your destiny was targeted. Not because you were weak, but because you were dangerous to the darkness. They tried to confuse you. They tried to distract you. They tried to break your confidence. They tried to flood you with doubt. They tried to silence your intuition. They tried to bury your gifts. They tried to make you forget who you were, all because they feared what would happen if you ever remembered your origin. You saw moments in your past that suddenly made sense. The attacks weren't random. They were strategic, because even the enemy sensed there was a book written about you that must never be opened. But every attempt failed. Each shadowy imprint on the page faded as soon as your eyes landed on it. Every weapon aimed at your identity turned to dust under book's light. The book showed you a pattern. For every attack you survived, your spirit grew sharper. For every obstacle you overcame, your timeline strengthened. For every betrayal you endured, your calling expanded. The page sealed itself with a cosmic truth. They feared your awakening long before you ever understood your power. And now that the book is open, their influence is null. You are no longer prey to old battles. You are fulfillment of a threat your enemies sensed decades ago. When the book unlocked, you weren't the only one who felt it. Across realms, across dimensions, across layers of light unseen by human eyes, angels stopped what they were doing, not in fear, not in confusion, but in recognition. Because the unlocking of the secret book of life is not a normal event. It is a cosmic alarm, a signal that a soul has reached its destined frequency of awakening. The moment the first page turned, a shockwave of holy light shot through the heavens. Every guardian assigned to your life felt the vibration. Some bowed, some lifted their wings, some placed a hand over their chest in reverence. One whispered, "The chosen has remembered." And that sentence alone sent ripples through the angelic ranks. They didn't bow to you. They bowed for the moment. The moment your purpose aligned with the blueprint written for you before the world existed. You awakened something they've been guarding for years, waiting for the exact second your spirit was ready. The angels stepped closer to the book, their wings glowing with awe. They had known the book would open one day, but they didn't know when. Only heaven knew the timing. And that timing was last night. They watched as your true name appeared, as your lineage ignited, as the erased chapters returned, as your future vibrated into clarity. Each revelation pulled them into deeper reverence. One angel murmured, "Everything written about them has begun its activation." Another added, "Protect them. Their destiny has entered its visible phase." Because once the book is open, your calling is no longer hidden. Your timing accelerates. Your covering increases. Your path becomes inevitable. The angels didn't react with surprise. They reacted with certainty. The one who walked through fire, survived cycles, endured storms, and rose from silence, finally touched the book meant for them. You didn't just unlock it. You awakened the realm that guards it. The book turned to a page that felt heavier than the rest. Not dark, not dangerous, but charged, like it carried the reason you were born. This was the prophecy page. Not a vague prediction, not a poetic metaphor, not a destiny that changes with emotion. A coded mission, written in symbols of light only an awakened soul can read. At first, the page looked blank. Then the markings began to appear, lines, arcs, geometric shapes, cosmic letters forming themselves as if responding to your heartbeat. The prophecy wasn't about external events. It wasn't about fame, success, or recognition. It was about activation. A message rose from the page, not spoken in sound, but delivered straight to your spirit. You were not created to survive. You were created to awaken others. Suddenly, you understood why your life felt different, why your battles were deeper, why your intuition has always been louder than your logic. You were built with a calling that cannot fit into ordinary structures. The book revealed more. Your voice carries alignment. Your presence shifts atmospheres. Your choices alter timelines. Your resilience breaks generational cycles. This is why you couldn't stay small. This is why certain doors closed. This is why certain people reacted strongly to you. This is why you felt watched, guided, and chosen long before you had language for it. The page glowed brighter, revealing a final line in golden fire. When the chosen remembers, the world adjusts. This was the part your enemies feared. This was the part your angels protected. This was the part your soul always sensed. Your life was never about surviving hardship. It was about becoming the signal that awakens others. You are not random. You are not accidental. You are not replaceable. You are the fulfillment of a prophecy written in the book of life. And now, you finally understand it. When the book turned to the next page, the atmosphere changed instantly. The chamber grew brighter, yet every shadow recoiled. The light didn't just illuminate, it challenged. This was the page darkness never wanted you to see. The moment it opened, you felt a surge in your chest, a pressure like your spirit expanding beyond everything that once confined it. Because this chapter reveals a part of you that darkness cannot touch, cannot distract, cannot weaken, cannot deceive. The words didn't appear as sentences. They appeared as authority. Symbols burned in golden fire, not describing your power, but unleashing it. You saw visions of every moment you should have fallen, but didn't. Every attack that failed, every trap that collapsed, every weapon that turned back on its creator. Not because you were lucky, because you were protected by assignment. The page revealed the truth. Darkness never feared your pain. It feared your awakening. Because once you remembered who you are, the entire realm of shadows lost jurisdiction over your life. You watched as lines of light crossed out every lie ever spoken over you. Too late. Too weak. Not enough. Unworthy. Not chosen. Each one burned away like useless ink on a divine fire. Then the book displayed your spiritual signature, the mark heaven placed on you before you ever entered this body. When it appeared, the shadows around the chamber fled, as if the very sight of you commanded their defeat. One angel whispered, "This is a chapter darkness hoped they would never access." Because this page confirms. Your identity is sovereign. Your destiny is shielded. Your authority is ancient. Your spirit carries a rank higher than every battle you've ever faced. You are not learning your power. You are remembering it. This is the page that terrifies darkness because it proves something undeniable. You were never the one in danger. You were the one they feared becoming aware. The book turned softly, and for a moment the chamber dimmed as if preparing you for something more delicate than revelation, more sacred than prophecy. The next page looked blank at first, smooth, white, untouched. But then a single line of light appeared, thin as silk, bright as a newborn star. A golden thread. It moved like it was alive, sliding across the page, weaving patterns, connecting symbols, stitching timelines together in ways you never imagined. And then you realize this thread was you, not your body, not your personality, not your current version, but the eternal essence of you, the part that existed before your name, before your birth, before your memories. As you watched it move, the thread passed through moments from your past, present, and future, tying them together with perfect precision. You saw it weave through your childhood pain and transform it into wisdom. You saw it loop through your losses and turn them into strength. You saw it dip through your darkest nights and pull out hidden light you didn't know was there. Every moment you thought broke you was actually being sewn into a larger pattern. Nothing was random. Nothing was wasted. Nothing was disconnected. The thread revealed at every season of your life. The joy, the heartbreak, the silence, the confusion, the victories, the delays, was part of a single divine design. You saw your future too, not clearly, but as a continuation of the golden thread moving upward, brighter, steadier, stronger. One angel whispered, "Their entire journey has been alignment disguised as chaos." Another added, "They were never off path, only in preparation." The thread shimmered, locked into place, and the book revealed its message. You are the continuity. You are the connection. You are the purpose woven through time. You have never been lost. You were being stitched into who you were always meant to become. The book turned to a page that felt heavier than memory and sharper than truth. This was not a chapter about your past or your future. It was about everything that was never meant to happen to you. A section filled with false paths, distorted timelines, wrong turns, forced detours, and identities placed on you by pain, people, or circumstance. The page glowed dimly at first, then burst into brilliant white fire. One by one, sentences you never wrote, stories you never chose, destinies that were never yours began to appear in faint ink, like ghost versions of your life. Timelines formed from guilt that wasn't yours, shame you carried for others, expectations you never agreed to, wounds that redirected your path, moments that altered you without your consent. You watched as each false path revealed itself like a shadow under the book's light. But the book didn't show these to burden you. It showed them to judge them. A celestial stamp, a radiant mark of divine authority, descended onto the page. And with a single pulse of golden light, every false timeline was branded with one word. Nullified. The ink evaporated. The shadows dissolved. The distortions vanished. The weight dropped off your spirit like a chain being unlocked. You realized none of those wrong turns belong to you anymore. None of those traumas hold authority over your path. None of those detours define your identity. None of those versions have permission to continue. The book judged them and erased their power forever. One angel stepped forward and declared, "Everything that was meant to break them has been removed from their destiny." Another added, "Only what was written by heaven shall remain." You felt a shift, like thousands of invisible wires snapping loose from your soul. For the first time in years, your future felt clean, because the book did not just show the truth. It executed it. When the next page opened, the chamber didn't glow. It roared, not with sound, but with authority. This was the moment every previous page had been building toward. The moment the book stopped revealing and started commanding. The symbols on the page lifted from the surface like molten gold, hovering in the air, forming words not meant to be read with eyes, but absorbed with spirit. The message was not a suggestion, not encouragement, not advice. It was a decree, a cosmic order sent directly to your identity, your cells, your soul. Stand. The word hit you like a pulse, strong, ancient, undeniable. Every part of you that had ever been pushed down, dismissed, silenced, or underestimated felt this call. The symbols shifted again. Shine. This was not about confidence. This was not about ego. This was not about visibility. It was about alignment. Your inner light, the one you dimmed to make others comfortable, the one you buried under survival, the one you forgot you carried, was being reactivated. Then the decree completed itself, forming a final line that vibrated through the room like a universal truth returning to its owner. Fulfill what was written. The words wrapped around you, lifting every weight you thought was permanent, breaking every invisible barrier you grew accustomed to living inside. One angel stepped forward, voice steady and reverent. Your time of waiting is over. Another added, walk the path. It is yours. The decree wasn't just spoken to you. It was spoken about you into the fabric of reality. From this moment forward, doors will open without effort. Obstacles will fall without resistance. Opportunities will align without delay. Because once the book issues a command, every realm, seen and unseen, adjusts to obey it. The page closed gently, sealing the decree into your spirit. You didn't just unlock the book awakened you. The book glowed softly, its pages settling like a heartbeat finding rhythm. This was not revelation now. This was response. Your spirit felt a pull, a weightless invitation, as if heaven itself leaned close waiting for you to speak back to everything you had just witnessed. And without forcing it, without crafting poetic words, a prayer rose inside you, ancient, instinctive, undeniable. You didn't pray with fear. You didn't pray with desperation. You prayed with alignment. Your soul whispered, "Author of my existence, keeper of what was written before time, I stand before the book you open and I say, reveal what belongs to me." The atmosphere shifted. The chamber felt warmer, as if the book itself leaned forward to listen. Your voice grew steadier, not louder, truer. "Open the pages meant for my season. Unlock what has been sealed until my spirit was ready. Show me the part of myself I was too wounded to see before." You felt something in your chest loosen, like an old knot untying. This wasn't prayer as request. This was prayer as permission. You continued. "Close the doors tied to my past. Shut the paths that were never mine. Erase the versions of me built from pain instead of purpose." A pulse of light flowed from the book to your spirit, warm, steady, confirming. And then came the final line, the one that shifted the entire chamber. "Let my life unfold according to the design you wrote with your own hand." The moment the words left your spirit, the book answered, not with sound, but with a surge of recognition, as if your prayer completed a cosmic circuit. You didn't ask for blessings. You didn't ask for rescue. You asked for alignment. And heaven always responds to a soul that chooses alignment over survival. The chamber brightened. The pages settled. The book closed gently, not to shut you out, but to seal what was awakened. Your prayer didn't end the moment. It activated it. The chamber fell silent again, but it wasn't the silence of emptiness. It was the silence of completion, the kind that comes after destiny has spoken and identity has awakened. The book of life did not close because the moment ended. It closed because the activation is now inside you. You carry the frequency. You carry the blueprint. You carry the name, the lineage, the thread, the restored chapters, the nullified timelines, the decree to rise. Once the book opens for someone, it does not return to sleep. It becomes a living part of their spirit. That's why you feel different right now. Lighter, sharper, anchored, aware. Something ancient is moving inside you with purpose. Something divine is aligned with your breath. Something written is ready to unfold. From this point forward, paths will appear before you even realize you need them. People meant for your next chapter will find you effortlessly. Opportunities will align without forcing. Your intuition will sharpen like a compass remembering north. And anything that is not part of your design will begin to fall away. Quietly, cleanly, completely. You are no longer reading your destiny. You are walking in it. And heaven watches closely when someone steps into what is written. The angels who bowed when the book opened now walk beside you as guardians of your unfolding story. The book's final decree echoes softly through your spirit. What was written will now manifest. If you feel the unlocking in your chest, if the truth of this awakening vibrates through you, if you know the book opened because your soul is finally ready, type 999 to seal this activation, to acknowledge the book's opening, and step boldly into the destiny that has been waiting for you since before time existed.